1,315 is still the new halving. Fear and greed sitting at 31, which is fear, and Bitcoin is currently trading at 59.2k. On a 4-hour time frame, we're having some falling channels, some resistance in there. Pretty much all of the EMAs on a 4-hour time frame, which is 200, 150, and 20 EMAs on a 4-hour time frame is working for us as a resistance. Also, there's some falling wedge, falling channel, a lot of resistances on a 4-hour time frame. On the daily time frame, we also got all our EMAs as our resistance, and the main one that we're all keep an eye on is 200 EMA. On a daily time frame is we're still trading below it, which means it's resistance for us, and it's signaling that it's a bearish sign on a daily time frame. So yeah, we're still trading below the 60k, below the middle of the falling channel, which is again pretty negative sign for the Bitcoin. On a weekly time frame, we're having a pretty good candle. 20 EMA on a weekly time frame is still working for us as a resistance, and 50 EMA as a support, kind of in that type of a channel. On a monthly time frame, no changes, except for the fact that monthly MACD is still continuing to signal some bearish sign of a flipping or reversal to the bearish side of a MACD. So again, we'll be watching the daily time frame. Keep an eye on a 200 EMA on a daily time frame. So let's go back to the Ethereum. Again, we got pretty rough news, pretty rough couple of days for the Bitcoin, but for the Ethereum it was pretty good couple of days actually. Ethereum had seen a bounce in the recent days compared to the Bitcoin, and especially if you're gonna look at the Ethereum Bitcoin pair. On a daily time frame, we're having a falling wedge, and Bitcoin and Ethereum Bitcoin pair is bouncing from the bottom of this falling wedge. Again, if you're gonna remember, BlackRock bought some $100 million worth of Ethereum literally somewhere at the bottom of this falling wedge. So yeah, they had pretty good entry there, and meaning BTC dominance is dropping. It's currently bouncing from the 57.5% resistance there, currently bouncing to the 57%, and Ethereum is, because of that, eating some of the shares of the dominance. Currently Ethereum is sitting at 15.6%, bouncing from the support, which we're currently having at 14.8% of the Ethereum dominance. And yeah, we'll be keeping an eye on BTC dominance, Ethereum dominance, and Ethereum Bitcoin pair. What's going to be the result of the falling wedge? Again, it's a pretty long one, so we'll be keeping an eye on that one. So that's pretty much it for the Bitcoin and Ethereum. Again, on the Bitcoin, watching falling channel, watching 200 EMA, which is a pretty important indicator. So let's go back to the news and other data. US inflation rate. So we got 1 day left till the CPI data will be shown to us. Again, current forecast is 3%, which is the same as the previous one, and consensus is actually below the 3%, which is 2.9. We're currently having a support of 3% on a US CPI. Again, if in this case, it's pretty good thing to break the support when it comes to the inflation. Again, we'll see if we're gonna break the 3% support on a US CPI data. Also on the news, expecting Bitcoin ETF options to launch before the next year, and the biggest holders of the Bitcoin. There's the list of 11 biggest holders of Bitcoin. Obviously, the first one will be Satoshi Nakamoto, 1.1 million Bitcoins. Then we got Binance Exchange, which is the biggest exchange out there, crypto exchange, 550,000 Bitcoin. Then we got BlackRock, which is again, they holding ETF. BlackRock, 347,000. Again, BlackRock, I remember back in the days, it used to be, especially in 2016, somewhere in that range. BlackRock was so bearish on the Bitcoin, they had so many bearish news, putting out bearish news and sentiment for the book. Now they at the top 3 of Bitcoin holders. Now we got Grayscale, again more ETFs, MicroStrategy 226, which is a Sailor's company. Then we got Bitfinex Exchange. Then we got U.S. government 213,000, which I can assume those bitcoins came from seizing from from criminals, seizing the coins from them. Then we got Chinese government 190,000. Then we got Fidelity, Block One, and Robinhood at 11, which is the brokerage firm. I'm pretty sure 139,000 bitcoins. Then on a new, not just news, but pretty positive sentiment that El Salvador, the Nayib Bukele, he bought 5.8k Bitcoin for his country, which turns out to be a pretty good thing, considering what's the current price of the Bitcoin and the range that he bought. Again, he did pretty risky thing, and it turns out a pretty profitable thing. Also, US debt is getting out of control, which again we're getting these talks again and again that US debt is getting out of control, but at the same time, how are you gonna force the US to pay off the debt when they got the biggest military in the world? It's just until they're gonna lose the biggest military in the world, there's just literally no other way to force them to pay off the debt. It's just one of those things that's pretty hard to do. And then we got again, 2 weekly time frame is getting much more popular, as I've seen in a recent couple of days. So currently Bitcoin on a 2 weekly time frame is already flipping into the red side of the MACD, which is actually a pretty good thing considering considering that we're trading kind of in a close to the 60k and we're already in a red zone, which meaning which you can say priced in type of stuff. That meaning we're gonna flip the red zone much faster, and considering that we're kind of in this range would be pretty good. But because if you're gonna look at the monthly time frame on the Bitcoin, we're still in the green zone of the MACD. We still got plenty of downtrend movement when it comes to the MACD, but on a 2 weekly time frame, which obviously smaller time frame compared to the monthly, we're still inside of the 3 recent candles were inside of the red zone of MACD. So again, 2 weekly time frame is getting much more popular, so we're gonna be keep an eye on that one. So also on the news, much more again, Kamala Harris, Democrat candidate, still did not put out the stance or her position on crypto, and we're getting much more pressure to her on the matter. So we got some of the comments from Wedge. He's embracing the Bitcoin and crypto industry, and he's saying that I think that will be a good thing for the country. It should not be a partisan issue. Saying that again, Donald Trump is embracing the crypto. So let's hear his comments.
I think that part of the reason why is you see Trump's speech at the Bitcoin conference. It's just a matter of competing for votes that she's going to adopt a thoughtful position. Now, speaking as an American, not from a partisan perspective, I think that's a good thing. I think we should want great debate in the marketplace of ideas. Even if she offers a thoughtful digital assets framework or policy, even if I don't agree with all of it, I think that'll be a good thing for the country. But what I challenge Kamala Harris to do is not just cite the pieties and the words. Go into detail. Say what you actually believe about self-custody of assets. Say what you actually believe about whether you think Gary Gensler should continue as the leader of the SEC.
So yeah, again, much more and more pressure on Kamala to take her stance on a Bitcoin and hoping for a bullish one, not a bearish one. That would be pretty bad. Also, Yahoo Finance is getting into memes. It's pretty good that they get into memes, bullish one and Bitcoin one. So let's hear it yeah, it's pretty interesting to see it from one of the big news.
I want to talk about ETF flows real quickly, and
And talking about Bitcoin, yeah.
that's because even though we saw some flows out of ETFs last Friday, I was tracking the Thursday to Thursday flows, and despite all of this pressure, all the selling and all the volatility that we've seen over the last month, we're still seeing inflows into the ETFs, and I think that's a positive story. You take out those two grayscale ETFs, so spot Bitcoin and spot Ether ETFs that have higher fees, we actually had additions of about $250 to $300 million in those ETFs from Thursday to Thursday. So on that front, it looks like the new people who are investing in these ETFs, for lack of a better term, they have diamond hands. Also want to consider that the dollar is up.
That's interesting. I mean, again, talking about grayscale, sitting its top 4 of Bitcoin holders, 263,000 Bitcoin they holding. So that's pretty good thing. Also, Bitcoin miner marathon to raise $200 million to buy more Bitcoin. They bought $100 million worth of Bitcoin in July and currently holding 20K, which is a lot. Also, the same miner marathon to stamp every block in it mines with Made in USA, which is a pretty interesting thing to do, but okay. Also, El Salvador announcing $1.6 billion private investment, the biggest in the nation's history. So this investment coming from Yilport Holding, which is a Turkish company, will modernize the port of Acacutla and build a new port at La Union, where Bitcoin City is playing. So Bitcoin City is a smart city project in La Union of El Salvador. From Nayib Bukele, the planned city is intended to be a tax haven and to use geothermal energy to power Bitcoin mining. Again, pretty big investment and thing for Bitcoin, and you can see this project is slowly growing. We'll see what's gonna be the result of it. So yeah, we're gonna be keeping an eye on the Bitcoin. Gonna be keeping an eye, especially on the daily time frame, on the 200 EMAs. What's gonna be the result of that? Are we gonna break it? Also, 4-hour time frame is pretty important one, having a lot of resistance there. So yeah, a lot of things to watch. So yeah, to the moon, to the moon, to the moon.